Hey y'all, welcome back to another hunting ammo ballistics gel test. Another heavy request 350 Legend load. Today I've got Winchester PowerMax Bonded 160 grain and of course 350 Legend. And here's the box for that Winchester PowerMax Bonded 160 grain 350 Legend load. If nothing else, very cool looking box. Let's go ahead and flip it around to the back and take a look at all of their promo information. Right here talks about the 350 Legend cartridge itself. Feel free to stop, pause, and read all that if you would like to. Coming on down, it talks about their PowerMax Bonded bullet. So this is sort of what we're going to be judging this cartridge's performance against, is what it says right here. So protected hollow point, rapid expansion, we'll see if we get that. Bonded lead core so that we have high weight retention. It talks about that right here. We'll see if we get both of those, rapid expansion and high weight retention. Hopefully we will. I think we will. Let's go ahead and take a look at velocity. We have a muzzle velocity stated at 2,225 feet per second. Now, interestingly, it does state the barrel length. I wish more ammo manufacturers would do this. Ballistics generated from 20-inch barrels, so we'll be shooting this out of a 16.38-inch barreled Ruger American Ranch. We'll see how close we get to that. Just a caveat, my barrel is not 20 inches, it's 16.38, so we'll see what we get. And then it does say this is meant for deer, hog, and bear, so sort of your standard medium game. And let's go ahead and yank these out and take a look at this stuff. Looks like Winchester standard styrofoam ammo container. Let's whip one out and take a look. And here is your very unique looking bullet. We have a big old hollow point up top. Looks like we have some skiving around the jacket of the bullet to promote that rapid expansion. Interesting looking stuff. Let's go shoot it and see how it does. And my test rifle today is my Ruger American Ranch, chambered in 350 Legend, of course. It's got a 16-inch barrel up top. I've got a Vortex Crossfire 2 scope. And coming on back, I've got one of my 20-round magazine cuffs. You pop that open, you got a 20-round magazine close at hand right there. Really helps turn the Ruger American Ranch into the perfect truck gun, camp gun, anything you could need it for. Coming around to the other side, I've got my white-tailed deer design on this one. Check out my website, masonleather.com. I would absolutely love to make you one. I will link it in the description and in the pinned comment. And real quick, if you're watching this video anytime around when it came out, I'm having a huge sale on my website, masonleather.com. Go check it out and get yourself something. We'll be taking 3 shots from 100 yards, firing into 10% ballistics gel that has been calibrated to meet the FBI's ballistics testing protocol. And while ballistics gel isn't an exact proxy for big game, it does provide a repeatable medium through which to test various bullets and ammo against each other. After the shots, we'll examine bullet expansion, weight retention, penetration, and velocity. My goal is to provide hunters like you and I with the most objective information possible to help us make the best choice for our particular hunting situation. The ballistics gel in this video has been sourced from Clear Ballistics. You can find a link in the description. So let's go ahead and shoot it. And here are your velocities for that Winchester PowerMax Bonded 160 grain load out of the 350 Legend. Minimum 2211, max 2249, average 2230. And we are down here at the blocks after shooting those Winchester PowerMax Bonded 160s out of the 350 Legend. And we have some very interesting performance, and I am very surprised and pleased actually. We have all 3 bullets right here, 1, 2, 3. And these are some of the shallowest penetrating 350 Legend bullets that I have tested on the channel thus far. We're looking at 17.5 inches, and these other 2 will give 19 inches. And usually with 350 Legend, we see quite a bit more penetration. It's one of those cartridges that likes to penetrate a little bit deeper and not really deliver a whole lot of energy up front, but these PowerMax Bonded ones definitely did. They flipped this front block around quite a bit for 350 Legend. And I've come around to the other side to try to get a better look. It looks like we have some very good and consistent mushrooming on all 3 bullets. It looks like very concentric mushrooming all the way around the circumference. This is good looking stuff. And we'll come over to the front block to try to take a look at the wound cavity. Looks like we open up at about the 1-inch mark, and we've got a rather wide wound cavity for 350 Legend. You usually don't see anything quite like that. And it tapers off pretty rapidly by about the 6-inch mark. It's just starting to penetrate through. but up front it does deliver a little bit of a punch. And looking from the front here, you can see there is a little bit of fragmentation. Now these are bonded bullets, but it looks like for the most part they did hold together. Let's go ahead and dig these things out and take a look. Alright y'all, so we fired the Winchester PowerMax Bonded 160 grain 350 Legend load. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So weight retention wise, we saw 134, 137, and 149 grains for an average of about 140 grains retained weight, which works out to 88% weight retention, and this is a bonded bullet. And then expansion wise, I really like what this load did. We saw 0.58 inches, 0.62 inches, and 0.7 inches for an average of about 0.63 inches expanded diameter, and that works out to 1.8x expansion. But notice in the photo how even that expansion is. It is all the way around the circumference of the bullet. You're getting a big frontal area penetrating through. Really nice even expansion. I like that. And something I will note that with 350 Legend, it's not the most, expansive of a bullet. They don't tend to expand a whole ton. 1.8x is on the upper end of what I've seen with most loads, and with how evenly this expanded, I think it did excellent. And now on to velocity. Our high velocity was 2250, our low was 2212 for an average of 2230 versus the factory spec of 2225. So we came in 5 feet per second faster on average than box spec. That's always nice to see. And this was out of a 16-inch barreled Ruger American Ranch, so we don't have some extra long barrel ringing out this velocity. It was just nice and hot. And our estimated velocity at 100 yards at impact is 1,940 feet per second. And now on to penetration. So this is one of the shallower penetrating 350 Legend loads that I've tested, but I'm going to tell you why that's not necessarily a bad thing. So we got 17.5, 19, and 19 inches respectively for an average of about 18.5 inches of penetration. And when I'm looking at penetration for medium game hunting ammo, I'm looking for about 20 inches or more. And the reason for that isn't because a deer is, 20 inches wide. They're not. They're about 13 or 14 inches wide if I recall correctly, or 20 inches deep or anything like that. What it is it's taken your most popular hunting ammo and your most popular hunting cartridges for deer, for other medium game, black bear, whitetail, mule deer, and stuff like that, and seeing what their penetration range tends to be. And that's why I have the 20-inch rule, because a lot of your rock solid heavy duty hunting medium game calibers deliver that 20 to 20 plus inches of penetration. And so it's a good benchmark to go by. Because we're not comparing whether an ammo will kill a deer or not. Of course it will if you hit it in the right spot. We're comparing ammo to each other to make our best choice. And while this load didn't quite get to the 20-inch mark, it was right there. And recall back the expansion. This stuff expanded really well. 1.8x expansion, nice and uniform, better than a lot of other 350 Legend ammo. So personally for me, if I'm hunting, whitetail deer, stuff like that, where you don't need excessively deep penetration most of the time, I'm more willing to trade off a little bit of penetration for some more expansion and internal damage, as long as I get enough to get the job done. And I think we're right there with this ammo. Now, if I was hunting, bigger black bears or something with 350 Legend, I might pick a different load that went a little bit deeper, and maybe trade off some expansion for penetration. There's always a give and take. And then kinetic energy wise, with a 160 grain bullet going on average 2,230 feet per second, we're looking at 1,766 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle, which is about on par with most of your 350 Legend hunting loads. And then your estimated kinetic energy at impact at 100 yards is about 1,337 foot-pounds, just to know what you're getting once it's down there. And a quick announcement before we get to my final thoughts: if you'd like early access to my videos weeks and even months in advance of everyone else, become a channel member. The links will be in the video description and the pinned comment. Thanks, y'all. Alright, y'all, so it's time for my final thoughts on the Winchester PowerMax Bonded 160 grain load for the 350 Legend. I think all in all, this stuff did excellent. It hit all the marks. It did what it said it was going to do. I think metric-wise, it has everything. It expanded really, really well. Velocity was excellent. It met the box spec, actually beat it a little bit. Penetration-wise, I like what I saw. A lot of your 350 Legend loads give you kind of excess penetration without the expansion. This gave you, plenty of both. So unless I was going after something particularly large, I would feel pretty confident with this ammo. And something else interesting to note, a while back I tested the Winchester Defender 160 grain bonded 350 Legend ammo, and this ammo, I believe it's probably the same thing, I'm not totally sure on that, but metrics wise it is almost identical across the board. If you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it. It's in my 350 Legend ammo test playlist. It performed basically identically to this ammo. So all in all, I'm really happy with this stuff. If my rifle shot it particularly well, this would be one of my top choices for whitetail deer, especially where I'm hunting. I'm in East Texas. Our deer aren't particularly massive, so I don't need excess penetration, but I do like the expansion you get with this particular load with enough penetration, so I'd be happy with it. And also with that bonded bullet, you're not going to have a whole ton of fragments and stuff all throughout your meat and whatnot, so that's always good. If you've used this ammo, let me and everybody else know how it did down in the comments. And check out my website masonleather.com and get yourself some leather gear handmade by me just for you. I've been handcrafting leather gear for hunters for over a decade, and I would love to make you something. And there are hundreds of reviews on my website, so you can see what real hunters have to say about their Mason leather gear. And also tons of photos showing all the customizable options, including name, initial, and caliber stamping, as well as wild game designs and more. Everything is handmade by me right here in the USA. I would love to be a part of your hunt through my leather gear. And it helps support this channel, so I can bring you more hunting ammo ballistics gel tests, and lots of other cool stuff in the future. The link will be in the video description and the pinned comment, or you can just type masonleather.com into your web browser, and click one of these cards for more hunting ammo ballistics gel tests.